Hello and welcome to this week's Sports Talk right here on Tameside Radio. I'm Mark Phillip, Head of Sport at Quest Media Network, and as usual I'll have the latest local sports news in and around the borough. But as usual, we'll start this week by taking a look at the latest fixtures this weekend, courtesy of our sponsor Betfred. I was joined earlier today by Peter Spencer to take a look at Manchester United's home clash against Everton, Manchester City's trip to Liverpool on Sunday, the Betfred Super League semi-final between St Helens and Leeds Rhinos, and we also took a look at who is in the running to succeed Daniel Craig as a new James Bond. So then, Peter, first of all, let's take a look at the Betfred Super League, because on Thursday night, Catalans Dragons booked their place in a Super League Grand Final at Old Trafford. They were meant to win, weren't they, really?
Yeah, no surprise really. I did think Hull KR was one step beyond for them after that fantastic victory against Warrington in the Eliminator. So they came out and triumphed Catalans by 28 points to 10. Maybe the scoreline flattered them a little bit, particularly as they didn't have Sonny Tompkins in the team. He's likely to be back for the Betfred Super League Grand Final on October the 9th. Then we've got the second semi coming up tonight. That's between St Helens, who are at home, against Leeds. You do expect there to be a St Helens victory, and that'll be right and proper that the first two teams should play in the grand final. But you never know, because there was mix-ups last week. There was nobody expected Hull KR to beat Warrington, so that was one tremendous upset, and also for Leeds to beat Wigan. So in tonight's game, Saints are outright favourites, they're 1-4 to win and play in the final. Leeds are 10-3. Grace is 8-1 to score the first try, and Roby, who has announced that he's not going to play international rugby anymore, he's 33-1 to score the first try, which I think is quite a good bet actually. Outright prices, there's 3 left now at the business end of the season. We've got Saints 4-6 to win the trophy for the third time on the run on October the 9th. Then we've got Catalans at 13-8. They'll be playing in the final for the first time. Leeds, who've been there before, they're 6-1 to win the grand final.
Well, I was reading Fred's column, as you can find every week in the Tameside Report and Glossop Chronicle, and basically he predicted that it would be St Helens taking on Catalans Dragons. So, you know, if Saints do win that fixture against Leeds tonight, it's going to be that showdown, and that's got all ingredients to be a cracker, because like you said, then Saints are a top-class team.
Well, both Saints and Catalans play expansive rugby. So if they don't cancel each other out, it should be a cracking final. There might be a problem with getting as many supporters as we would have hoped over from France. But we've got some free tickets that will be available through Quest Media next week. So that'll be an opportunity for some people to get there. But it's a 6 o'clock kick-off, and we do expect that at least Old Trafford will be 3/4 full.
Brilliant stuff. So you're not expecting a French invasion then, though?
Well, I think there's going to be some restrictions on how many visitors we'll get. But there'll be certainly a fair crowd there. There'll be at least, I would imagine, about 6,000 fans there. I mean, there's 10,000 there at the Bruno Stadium for the semi-final win against Hull KR.
Well, regardless, it is taking place at Manchester United's Old Trafford, October 9th. It's going to be a cracker. So, as I said then, tonight's fixture, the other semi-final, it's St Helens taking on Leeds Rhinos. Well, we'll take a look at some of the football now. And earlier this week, it was Champions League action. And what a night it was for Manchester United. That man, Cristiano Ronaldo, once again, coming up with the goods. 94th minute, Peter, great scenes. Almost like it was the old days.
Well, maybe not quite the old days, because I think United are relying on the individual brilliance of one or two players, and particularly Ronaldo, because they didn't play particularly well in that game. They played like a team of individuals. Villarreal were much more the collective package, better coach perhaps, better tactics, and they were very unlucky not to go away with at least a draw from Old Trafford. But you can't hold down Ronaldo for that long, and I thought Jesse Lingard had an absolute key part in that goal, set him up beautifully after he came on a substitute. And it's no wonder that Jesse Lingard, a lot of fans are saying, including myself, that he should be starting for Manchester United, because Pogba and one or two others did not shine on that night. And it was down to to Ronaldo to get him out of it and win the game.
I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the emotion, especially after a victory like that, 94th minute winner, courtesy of Ronaldo. But should United, as a club like United, really be celebrating in that way against Villarreal? I mean, they've just scraped it, like you said. Then should they really be celebrating like that?
In a word, no.
No.
Basically, they should be at the top table every year. They should be celebrating victories against teams like Barcelona and Bayern Munich. That's the level of Manchester United, not Villarreal. But Villarreal have upset the apple cart in Spain because they're like the underdogs there, and they keep beating some of the top teams.
I mean, you mentioned Barcelona. What is happening to them under Ronald Koeman?
Yeah, well, not as bad as what's happening at Real Madrid. Well, I think some of these, you can understand why Real Madrid and Barcelona wanted that European Super League, because their league is nothing like as competitive as the Premier League. And so they want to get some of our sort of expertise and spread the Premier League over Europe, but they're not having it because of what the fans have rightly said. It's our league and we're going to keep it as it is because of the effect it has on the whole pyramid. You mentioned about Curzon Ashton and teams like that. They all benefit from the success of the Premier League.
Yeah. Justice for the fans, obviously fans in action there, helping to reverse that decision. But 24 hours earlier, wasn't such a great evening for Manchester City. They made the trip to PSG, lost 2-0. That man, Lionel Messi, had a pretty decent game, coming up with a goal. Fair play to him.
Well, it's been a great week for the two superstars of the World Game. Messi's goal was arguably a better goal, and I thought that City again lacked that killer punch up front. I did a tweet saying that you could summarise City by saying one pass too many, because that's what they kept doing over and over again. Sterling's no centre forward, not at that level anyway. He might score a few against Norwich and teams like that, but he's never going to score against PSG. And I thought Foden, he flattered to deceive to an extent. There was a few of them who were off the pace. Jesus as well, even De Bruyne. They're all a little bit similar. We just need someone to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, some firepower up top, that's what you need. Do you think it'll come back to haunt them, not getting Harry Kane over summer? I know we've said this over and over, but it's looking more likely now that it is going to come back and haunt them.
Well, I mean, I've got the odds here for the Champions League, and they're no longer out-and-out favourites anymore. They're 4-1, along with Bayern Munich and PSG. Liverpool 15-2 with Betfred, Chelsea 8-1, United 11-1, because they keep winning against the odds. Juve 22-1, same as Real Madrid. I mean, Real Madrid at this stage being 22-1 to win the Champions League is unheard of.
Yeah.
But in answer to your question, I just think that City, the fact that they didn't push out for Harry Kane and maybe went for Jack Grealish as their big money, prestigious marquee signing, could backfire, because Jack Grealish, great player that he is, he's not adding that much to the team. They've got lots of players in that area who can do that job, whereas they haven't got anybody to replace Aguero.
Well, he's got no Champions League experience, has he, Grealish? And that's a massive factor when you join a club, especially if you want to be competing for that title. So we'll take a look now at the Premier League fixtures this weekend, because at the bottom of the table, there's a massive clash at Turf Moor. It's Burnley hosting Norwich. Already at this stage of the season, Peter, this is a huge game for both sides.
Well, it's bottom against second from bottom, and Norwich, who are at Burnley, as you say, they're 1-4 to win in that game. Newcastle are 10-11 to be relegated. Watford 11-10, and Burnley 5-4 to be relegated. So we don't think Burnley will be relegated. We suspect it'll be Newcastle and Watford joining Norwich. But you're dead right, it's a key game, that.
Absolutely, and another key game at the top of the table is taking place at Old Trafford. It's another early kick-off on Saturday. United are hosting Everton. Peter, what are the odds looking like for this one?
Well, we've got Ronaldo. You can't keep out the news. 11-4 to score first. Cavani 7-2. I thought he did well, actually.
Yeah, he did.
United, and Bruno, he's 9-2. So for match betting to win the game, Betfred have United 1-2. Everton 13-2, and a draw 7-2.
Excellent stuff. And then on Sunday at Anfield, it's another cracker. We've got Liverpool hosting Manchester City. Peter, again, the odds, please.
Right, well, Manchester City 29-20, and Liverpool 2-1 to win. The draw is 13-5, so City slightly favourites there. It's going to be a really, really tough ask with that crowd. The Anfield roar will be upsetting to the City fans, particularly if they have one of those, shall we say, raucous welcomes with the coach, etc. But Salah's 7-2 to score the first goal, and then City. It's hard to get a good market on these because there's so many players get on the score sheet and get sort of 4 or 5 goals or even 10 goals at the end of the season, but nobody out there scoring the most. Anyway, Sterling 6-1 and De Bruyne 13-2 to score the first goal with City.
Excellent stuff. Now, as always, there's always big winners at Betfred, and this week is no different. Peter, you had one fella who put on a pretty ridiculous bet, really. I don't think anyone saw, I'm going to hope I pronounce this properly, Shirab Tiraspol beating Real Madrid the other night, but he fancied his chances and it's come good for him because how much has he won from that one?
Well, he had a £10 5-fold accumulator on. So he had Dortmund to win, Atletico, Liverpool and PSG to beat City. Now they were, as near as damn it, the favourites for those games. But his fifth match was, as you say, this team from Moldova to beat Real Madrid. Now, no one's ever heard of this team from Moldova. I can't even say it. But anyway, they pulled off with the shock, probably the biggest shock ever in Champions League football, and beat Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. And this guy from Nottingham, who's a security worker, he's age 44, he had the acca of those 5 teams all to win. And because the team from Moldova, Shirav Tiraspol, they were at 18-1 to win, so it boosted his the amount he was going to win to ridiculous levels. So he had £10 on the whole bet, and he won 4,000.
Can't argue with that. That could be you, like I always say on these Betfred videos. You've got to be in it to win it. Now, something a little bit different because No Time to Die, the new James Bond film, that came out 2 days ago. But there's a lot of questions being asked as who will succeed Daniel Craig. Peter, I think Tom Hardy's in the running, is he?
Yeah, Tom Hardy's the favourite, actually.
Right.
He's just ahead of you. You can have you at 2,000-1. But Tom Hardy, he's a 3-1 shot. And then we've got James Norton at 7-2. I noticed that the Labour leader suggested that we should have a woman, and Lashana Lynch, she's 8-1. Idris Elba, who I'm backing, he's 8-1 to become the first black James Bond. So there is a big business in that. Most money is in fact on Lashana Lynch.
Right.
We've had what is it now? We've got about 10,000 on here. Mainly in the London area.
There we go then. If you fancy a punt on that one, Betfred stores are now open, but as I always say, you can also bet online and via their app. But just a quick recap now. So this weekend in the Premier League, we've got Burnley taking on Norwich. That's that basement battle, a huge game already at this point of the season. And at the top of the table, on Saturday, 12:30pm kickoff, we've got Manchester United hosting Everton. And then 24 hours later, at Anfield, it's Liverpool taking on Manchester City. But don't forget tonight, it's the Super League semi-final, the second game that is, because Catalan secured their place in the final last night, and it's St Helens taking on Leeds Rhinos. Well, our thanks as usual go to Betfred's Peter Spencer for providing the latest odds ahead of this weekend's sport. We'll move into some running news now, as the London Marathon takes place this Sunday and 100,000 people are expected to take part. Local runners have already impressed in previous events this year, but now they'll be tapering off and gearing up to face Sunday's race. East Cheshire Harriers' Andy Sykes will be running his second London Marathon in aid of the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital, who have looked after his daughter Pixie Bell. Fellow fundraiser Richard Bradbury will be tackling the streets of London for worldwide cancer research in honour of his brother who passed away in 2011. An article detailing all our local runners can be found on questmedianetwork.co.uk. We'll just stick with athletics for the time being, as East Cheshire Harriers' Mike Coogan has stormed to another 2 titles at the British Masters Athletics Championships. The 49-year-old entered the event, which was held at the Moorways Athletics track in Derby, as the world and European champion in the 200-metre sprint. But now, after another powerful performance against some of the best athletes in the country, including former Olympians and club runners, Mike has become the British champion in the 200-metre and 100-metre event. It caps off a hugely successful period for the Moseley-based sprinter, who was first introduced to athletics at the age of 43, having previously played cricket and the occasional game of darts. Well, the stress and strains of everyday life amid COVID-19 has pushed the subject of mental health into the forefront of public discussion. For many people, playing sport or going to the gym is a great way of relieving stress. However, it's not for everyone, and so a less physical and demanding outlet is often needed. Pupils who attend All Saints Catholic College in Duckingfield have been taking part in a new wellbeing session dubbed the Feel Good Yoga Club, coordinated by Sarah Crosley and funded by Greater Sport. In its third week, the session allows pupils to unwind, collect their thoughts and take part in some gentle yoga, while also having the opportunity to journal their thoughts and feelings. I attended a session and spoke to Sarah about the importance of wellbeing in schools, the relationship she has with various organisations who continue to support a vision, plans for the future and much more.
A yoga and wellbeing session called the Feel Good Yoga Club, and it's designed to provide access for children at the school to relax, do a bit of strengthening, stretching and also journaling. So we're just basically trying to give an outlet for the children to process emotions and overall generally feel better. If you're not that type of person where you want to stop and play football or netball, it's a really nice option to have to just chill out after school without actually having to go home straight away, and it's building that confidence and resilience as well without the pressures of having to have a skill set. So it's a really nice option for people to access. Oh, it's amazing. It's called the Satellite Clubs, and I recently came here to do a free session just because this is my old school and I just love coming back, doing full circle. And then I really wanted to continue the sessions, but obviously funding's an issue in many schools. Contacted Greater Sport and they've been absolutely amazing in basically guiding me in how to go about making this club successful and most beneficial for the kids. Really well, it's expanding lots recently. So we've got the Healthy Body, Healthy Mind project, that's a programme in schools, and we've recently been funded by the council and NHS to be in 40 schools in Tameside throughout this year, so that's just absolutely amazing. It just means that there'll be so many kids who can access first of all the physical activity in the morning with Active Tameside, but also the mental health side of it with Active Angels in the evenings and the afternoons. If one thing could come good from the pandemic, it's that people are more aware and more focus on the mental health and keeping it in check, and then also passing that on to the children and making sure that your children are okay. It's just been an absolute pleasure to work recently, because instead of being met with, I wouldn't say lack of importance, but people not necessarily placing mental health highly, it's just done a complete U-turn and everyone welcomes the conversation around mental health and well-being. So well-being is becoming more and more focused in schools, rightly so, and it's understandable why. It'll just be nice when in a couple of years' time it's quite literally in the curriculum, maybe even a subject matter once a week. That would be the end game. I did say the end game would be going into schools, which we've got, which is absolutely amazing. I'm just so pleased. But yeah, definitely, if we could have that as part of the curriculum, that would be ideal. Yeah, that's something that Sean Higgins from Active Tameside mentioned, providing well-being for literally everyone, so early years through to the elderly as well. There's been talk of chair yoga, which I love the idea of.
Well, that was Active Angels owner Sarah Crossley talking about her new session, the Feel Good Yoga Club, which is taking place at All Saints Catholic College. Moving into football news now, and Curzon Ashton Football Club chairman Wayne Salkeld is hoping people in the local area will turn out in force tomorrow and support the club in their FA Cup fixture against Cleethorpes Town. The Nash are the only team in Tameside to remain in the competition and will scoop £5,625 in prize money if they manage to win. Steve Cunningham's side are currently flying high in the National League North and find themselves third. I spoke to Wayne about this weekend's FA Cup clash, how Cunningham has assembled a group of players who want to play for the club, and how sponsors have been integral to the club's success.
So we've worked really hard in terms of giving incentives in terms of football for a fiver, and then the last 2 games, the FA Cup, because obviously the opposition, you know, we looked at their what they charge, and we've sort of like brought that in line with that, and obviously give it back to our supporters to come in. So we're rallying to people to come tomorrow. Our attendances are getting better because obviously we're doing well in the league, so that really helps us. So we just want to get as many people through the Tameside Stadium as possible in the not just tomorrow but in the coming weeks.
Yeah. How do you do that though? I mean, you've launched these initiatives like Football for a Fiver. I know you're going to talk a bit about that, but do you think it's just a symptom of being in an area with loads of teams? You've got Ashton United on your doorstep, Stalybridge, you know, it's a hotbed of football, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I've touched on it before. You know, we are the youngest team in the borough in terms of when we were formed. So, you know, and obviously a lot of people have supported them clubs over the years. It'll come from your dad, your uncle, whatever, you know what I mean? So we're just trying hard to get that attendance up, and I think we are. I think what we're doing in the community, what we're doing as a football club, you know, is all positive, and I just think, you know, the future's good, you know, in terms of, you know, what we're trying to do on and off the field.
Yeah, I mean, you must have missed the crowds last season. It was horrible for everyone, wasn't it, really? But especially for football clubs, they rely on the fans. How good has it been just to, you know, get people back through the doors and hearing a bit of an atmosphere again?
Oh, it's great. You know, it's great to just see everyone back. Faces you haven't seen for 18 months, you know. It's just been brilliant to see people again in the stadium. And, you know, and we just we've got that family feel, I feel, at the club at the moment. You know, we've relaunched Super Nash and things like our mascot, and we're getting a lot of kids in now, and we just think it's an exciting time for us. And like I said, you know, if you're doing well on the pitch, you will attract crowds, and I think we're doing that at the moment.
Yeah, you certainly are. I think it's fair to say that you're exceeding expectations. Steve's doing a great job. 3rd in the National League North. What are the aims and ambitions, given your current position?
Well, we're going to keep our feet on the ground, obviously, and Steve knows that with the team, but we just feel that Steve's, you know, got a group of players who want to play for the football club. It's not all about money, you know, it's about creating an atmosphere, and Steve has done that in terms of like getting the right people on board. But Steve's under no illusions. I mean, we speak daily, and Steve's gonna keep everyone feet on the ground, and we just hope tomorrow, you know, it's another, you know, step in the right direction in getting through to the next round.
I know I ask you this every season when you're in the FA Cup, but you don't budget for it, do you? But there is a lot of prize money to be made. So in the back of your mind, are you actually thinking that, yeah, we need a bit of a cup run just to bring in some additional revenue?
Yeah, we do. Like any other club, you know, 18 months, we've sort of like all our income streams have gone. So this, having a cup run, is very important to us. And like I said, we don't budget it. So it's good revenue to get back into the club, and what we do as a football club, when we get it back into the club, we'll spend it wisely.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about revenue. How else do you make revenue at a club, especially like when you during lockdown? How did you make the money, or was it just a case of you couldn't make any money?
Well, we couldn't make any money, you know, as you know, all our income streams are down. But what we've got here at the football club is tremendous sponsorships.
Yeah.
Sponsors who back us and everything like that, and that's down to a lot of the directors as well. So collectively they come together. We just had our golf day, which, you know, we had 18 different teams in that, you know, all different companies or friends or relatives or whatever. But it's all different people, you know, getting on board at Curzon because they know they've got something special here.
Yeah, and obviously you're doing great on the pitch at the moment, but is there a worry that maybe the team or players will be picked from other teams and other clubs? I mean, it's happened with Stalybridge before. Is that just a part of being in a successful side?
Yeah, but, you know, end of the day, what we did as a football club, we made sure this season we secured that, you know, a lot of our players are on contract. Right. And we make sure that we keep them players. And if people want to come and buy our players, they'll have to knock on my door.
Yeah. Have you had any offers yet so far for any of them?
No. So, you know, it's simple as that. We don't want to upset that sort of momentum at the moment. Steve doesn't want that. But like anything else, you know, we're a club where we've got to get money into the coffers as well, but at the same time we want to have a successful football team.
Yeah, and you've got a huge junior setup here. What's the situation regarding entrance to the games? Do they still get in for free?
They don't, because it's the FA Cup, obviously, you know. So we've got some ball boys and everything that tomorrow, you know, and everything like that. Obviously they do, but you know, like I said, we wouldn't be fair on the opposition. You know, we have to share the gate, and that's what happens.
Yeah. And what have you made of the actual performances so far? You know, the table reflects how well you're doing, but you've seen every game. How well are they actually doing on the pitch? Is it a different brand of football you're seeing?
We've seen good football. You know, what we've seen is a toughness really in the team, a togetherness. Right. You know, we're seeing all that. You can tell that the team want to play for the manager. They want to play for the football club. The buzz about the club at the moment is absolutely fantastic, and I'm so proud of that. And you know, it's always a risk when you change a manager, and you know, at the moment, we've seen fruits of that. We're doing really well.
And it's called the National League North, but there's a lot of travelling in this division. What have you made of it so far in terms of getting to away games? I mean, you played Gloucester, you played Leamington. You know, they're both places very south, aren't they?
They are, and what the good thing about that is that we've won the games. Yeah. You know, if we was travelling back and it was a defeat, it's a different kettle of fish. But at the same time, we've gone there. We've done the business on the pitch. We've all come home happy. Yeah, listen, I know we're third, but at the end of the day, we just got to keep, like I say, keep our feet on the ground and hopefully keep this run going.
That was Curzon Ashton chairman Wayne Salkeld providing the latest updates at the Tameside Stadium. Well, it all seems to be positive news at the Tameside Stadium, as a former Curzon Ashton employee has landed a job with Scottish Premiership outfit Hibernian. Andy Cheshire, who previously headed up Curzon Ashton's Community Foundation, has taken on the same role at Easter Road. He became a likeable figure behind the scenes at the Tameside Stadium and delivered great success during his 4-year tenure. Andy launched the Community Foundation and secured funding for numerous roles, recruited trustees and introduced new projects and initiatives. His dedication to the club was rewarded with a prestigious honour in 2018 as the club scooped the National Game Community Award awarded by the FSA, which highlighted the community work carried out by non-league clubs. Elsewhere this weekend, in the NPL Premier Division, Ashton United host Warrington Town, while Stalybridge Celtic entertain Stafford Rangers. In the NPL West, table-topping Mosley will be looking to continue their fine form as they host Warrington Rylands, whilst Glossop North End play host to Workington. Well, as we reported on last week, local boxing coach Ian Harrison was set to host a coffee morning for Macmillan Cancer Support. Now, the event followed Ian's 26-mile hike to raise funds for Cancer Research UK, and I'm delighted to say that both his efforts have raised a fantastic £1,704. So, congratulations and well done to Ian on those two worthy causes. Well, I'm afraid that's just about it for this week's show. However, you can find more local sports news on our website, questmedianetwork.co.uk.